HomeTeam.com.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. Vice President J.D. Vance says it's up to Tehran as talks continue with Qatar. Mediators are attempting to work out a permanent peace deal between the U.S. and Iran.
If they try to rebuild their nuclear program, if they try to start shooting at commercial vessels again, that's going to change our calculus. But right now, what the president has said is go and make a deal, go and negotiate in good faith, and that's what he's empowered us to do.
New round of talks come after the U.S. and Iran traded strikes last weekend. Sizzling temperatures gripping the central eastern U.S. ahead of the 4th of July holiday. New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill.
This is not the type of heat wave we've seen in a while. I think the last time was about 14 years ago. This is extreme heat.
More than 65 million people across 20 states forecast to reach temperatures of 100 degrees or more this week. America is listening to Fox News.
Hill City, the Howlers are ready to celebrate America's 250th at City Stadium. Friday the 3rd, a patriotic cap giveaway presented by Foster Fuels. On Saturday the 4th, celebrate America's 250th with a patriotic rally towel and the only fireworks show in Lynchburg postgame presented by Drain Rangers. And Sunday, a kids' ice cream jersey giveaway before the 2 p.m. start. Get your tickets now at hchowlers.com and howl out loud.
Tired of juggling 5 different numbers for your home's essential systems? Concord Mechanical is your true one-stop shop. From high-efficiency equipment sales and precision installation to proactive maintenance and emergency repairs, the Concord Mechanical will handle it all. Whether you're upgrading your HVAC, fixing a water heater, or seeking seasonal tuning, their expert technicians deliver seamless service under one roof. Save time, eliminate stress, and keep your home running perfectly year-round. Call today or visit theconcordmechanical.com to schedule your service.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. That's old news. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, you now have tons of options. Save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect. We scan your location and offer you the best TV and internet options. And we always have specials and promotions. So when you call, ask about that. Take 5 minutes of your time, make this free call now, and learn how to save money and get better internet and TV for your home anywhere in the U.S. Make the simple and free call now.
800-816-6785. 800-816-6785. 800-816-6785. That's 800-816-6785.
You're stepping into the fast lane on the VTRN Sports app. 93.3 FM and 1320 AM Lynchburg, or by asking Alexa or Google Home, open VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, take the fast lane through the topics that matter across the Commonwealth. This is the Fast Lane with Ed Lane.
.503 on this first day of July. Welcome into the Fast Lane. I'm Trey Lyle. That is JJ Hendrickson. We are essentially just partying hard here and enjoying the World Cup, amongst other things. JJ, another day, another show with us while Ed is at the Barrett Media Audio Summit 2026 in New York City. Hey, Ed, if you're listening on the VTRN Sports app, can you go by Madison Square Garden? Because that's how we're going to start this show with the Fast Five at 5-ish.
It's time for Fast Five at 5-ish. 5-ish minutes on 5 relevant topics done around 5 p.m.-ish. Ish, because our counting skills are kind of ish. Let's start with number 5.
Now, will this change Ed's mind now that we have Friday off? He will not come back tomorrow to Lynchburg and stay one extra day. Maybe he's been invited and he hasn't told us because he has to keep it a secret. But according to the AP, it appears, after a lot of speculation, that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are set to get married in Madison Square Garden on Friday.
Wow. Do we think Ed has a ticket? Got the invite?
I want to know, Ed, if you're listening, please let us know if you got invited to the wedding. I mean, I guess because this is Travis Kelce and mainly Taylor Swift, who's, again, Taylor Swift. She can get into Madison Square Garden. She can have a wedding inside Madison Square Garden. I guess because access and they wanted it to be as private as a moment as possible. Like if you do it at some resort or something with outdoors, they'll have a helicopter take pictures of it. Just insane what we're doing, what's happening here. But anyways, Taylor Swift's set to get married.
Yeah, I mean, most famous arena in the world, maybe one of the most famous weddings ever. I know, certainly. A lot of people
Argue
talk
the
about
American royal wedding.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to say, but that doesn't even sound that ridiculous to say at this point. It's one
Again,
of the most talked about things in the world, I would say.
Ed Lane not here to defend himself. Is he in New York?
For the wedding?
For the wedding, but not even to get in, just to stand outside and maybe see Taylor Swift.
Maybe he might.
Maybe he's a secret Swiftie. We didn't know about.
Secret huge fan, Ed Lane.
Number 4.
All right, back to sports now. I guess you can count that as sports. We'll do a World Cup action from yesterday. What a fun! I mean, this World Cup keeps delivering, JJ. But looking at the scoreboard from yesterday, before we get to the action from today, we mentioned the two games that we mentioned the one game that happened. Erling Haaland is inevitable with the 86th minute 2-1 score. They get the win. France off of 2 goals by Kylian Mbappe, who is now tied for the Golden Boot with Lionel Messi, one behind in the total goals, 19-18. They defeated Sweden 3-0. And then in Mexico City last night at the Estadio Azteca, Mexico defeated Ecuador 2-0 after 2 early goals in the 22nd and 31st minute. Mexico has not conceded a goal all tournament. They are set to take on the team we'll mention next. But any thoughts from yesterday's World Cup action?
Yeah, you mentioned Erling Haaland being inevitable, but the French have their own inevitable man in Kylian Mbappe. Like you said, he's 1 goal off the all-time record now. He's got 18 goals in 18 career matches at the World Cup, which is just absurd from a player at a stage as big as the World Cup. He's obviously going to be the all-time record holder. I don't know if he'll do it this World Cup. There's definitely a chance he does it this tournament, but he might go down as the best World Cup player to ever do it.
Number 3.
World Cup action from today. Only one final. After going down 1-0 in the 7th minute of the game, the great Harry Kane! Harry Kane! You have to say it like a loud British announcer. Can you drop the music down a little bit, JJ?
Of course.
There we go. Harry Kane hits 2 goals, one in the 75th, one in the 86th minute. Incredible goal. Gets a brace, as they say, to save England from defeat. 2-1 the final. Harry Kane enters himself in the Golden Boot race. He has 5 goals. He passed the great Pele for 7th all-time on the goal-scoring list. I want to mention, and we can call this a detour.
Time to take a detour in the fast lane.
A really big part, I think, why this is arguably one of the best, if not the best World Cup we've seen in quite some time, is you look at the Golden Boot race, and it's every big name you could think of. Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, Erling Haaland, Vinicius Jr., Dembele, who is the reigning player of the year.
Ballon d'Or winner.
Cody Gakpo on this list. That Kai Havertz, who's ironically eliminated. So Cody Gakpo.
Mm-hmm.
But my point being, by the way, Harry Kane sitting at 3 goals. Or no, this has not been updated since his 2 goals today. He's at 5, tied with Erling Haaland. It's been an incredible. I mean, the names you want to hear are performing at the highest levels in this World Cup.
I mean, yeah, the stars are showing out. Another thing worth noting about Harry Kane, he now has 72 goals on the season, which is the 2nd most ever by any player in a season, trailing only the great Lionel Messi in 2012 when he had 92.
Yes, exactly.
After Ed's potentially unnecessary detour, let's get back on the road in the fast lane.
So we're back. All right. Staying with number 3 now. Want to pay attention to the great game going on right now. Just started the second half. A team. What did I say about Belgium yesterday?
You said they disappoint in the World Cup, Trey.
And they are currently trailing 1-0. And as we head in the second half to Senegal, there in the World Cup. Obviously tonight the headliner the United States back in action as they take on Bosnia and Herzegovina. We'll take the winner of this game on in the next round. Ticket price for this game, for the U.S. game, as low as, do you want to take a guess?
Give me $4,000, Trey.
Well, you're way off there.
Low or high?
Lower,
Lower?
at least. Still insane.
Give me $2,000.
Closer, $1,616. That's the ticket. That's the lowest ticket price, according to Vivid Seats. There are seats over $2,000, over $3,000 available inside. You can't call it Levi Stadium, according to the World Cup. It's
San
just,
Francisco Stadium?
I think it's just San Francisco Stadium. You know, we all know what it is. Just genius there. All right, let's move to basketball now.
Number 2.
Lots of moves happening in the free agency space, including some big moves from the Los Angeles Lakers after they decide, or LeBron says bye, bye, bye. And it includes a big trade for former North Carolina center Walker Kessler. The former Utah Jazz star has been traded for unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033 and first-round stops in 2028 and 2030. He also got a 4-year, $130 million deal with a full trade kicker. It's simple. They needed a center. They needed a good center. Walker Kessler probably underutilized in Utah just because they didn't want to play him. I think he did make the All-Star team when he was in Utah, right?
I'm not sure about All-Star team. He's definitely been very good. One of the best shot blockers in the NBA, and he's still very young. So I don't hate the move for the Lakers, but they did have to give up a couple first-round picks, which is about what you would expect.
He made the All-Rookie team.
All-Rookie team. Okay. And
it was the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, the former North Kankalakian and an Auburn Tiger. But he's heading to Los Angeles. I think he's going to look really good next to Luka Doncic. Lakers also added Quentin Grimes as well as Colin Sexton, amongst other moves, as they are making the way for a roster around Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, Walker Kessler is the exact type of center that Luka Doncic has thrived with, kind of a bigger, taller Daniel Gafford. He had a lot of success with him in Dallas, as well as Derek Lively. So I do like this pairing with Luka a lot. I think the fit is really well.
Number 1.
The Spurs have signed free agent Tobias Harris to a 2-year, $31 million deal. Sources told ESPN's Shams Charania. Unfortunately for us, JJ, it appears, according to Mark Stein of the Stein line, that this means that the Spurs will not go after LeBron James.
Yeah, disappointing to see. I think that would have been a lot of fun to see LeBron.
Tobias fits with what they want.
He does, absolutely. And they got him at a relatively good price for what he brings to the floor. Actually showed up a lot in the playoffs this year. I know that's been a concern in the past, but he was one of the Pistons' better players. So I think the Spurs are happy to have more of a veteran presence on a very young team.
And that was the Fast Five at 5-ish, because it's 5:13 here on the Fast Lane. Any other deals you saw in the NBA that you want to touch on?
I mean, as a Celtics fan, I got to talk about the Mitchell Robinson one. They addressed the need and the big man they got. I believe it was 3 years, $47 million with a player option for the last year. My only concern with Mitchell Robinson, he is one of the better defensive centers in the league. Just won an NBA championship, but at the same time, he is a deeply flawed player. Has proven that at times in the playoffs, when you're in the bonus, he had to be taken off the floor because he is the worst free throw shooter in NBA playoff history. He sits at right around 37% from the line. But at the end of the day, the Celtics needed a big man, especially one defensive-minded. They went out and they got themselves one.
And it takes away from the Knicks. More importantly, it's a big loss. I mean, who got the game-sealing rebound
to win
on the off to clinch the finals was Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, and I know Knicks fans are absolutely sick that he went to the Celtics. So anytime a fan base is mad that you get a player, it's usually a good sign.
And update from the World Cup. What did I say about Belgium?
Wow. They struggle.
I should have gone I should have doubled down.
You shouldn't have had them advancing.
I should have doubled down. Senegal 2-0 with the goal right there. I mean, this quote, if you think the Americans have disappointed with the golden generation, Belgium is, again, had a times 10 golden generation and can't do anything. So I'm just saying. But exciting, United States in action tonight as we look towards the United States playing. I think, I mean, again, back to the World Cup. It's been awesome. It's been great, and we're probably getting upset here after an African team fell short of pulling off the upset bid against England just because maybe the best striker in the world right now, keyword right now, just put his team, put a whole country on his back. And please enjoy this English accent I'm giving you. All right, when we come back, we'll talk more about your teams and topics. Plus, around 5:40, John Manson will join us talking Liberty. This is the Fast Lane on VTR in Sports.
If you need a new or pre-owned vehicle, but prior credit issues have you worried, see Magic City Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram today. We can help. Bad credit, no credit, first-time buyer, or even if you just want to change what you're driving now, we're here to get you approved. See us now and start driving the new car or truck you deserve. When it comes to financing, go with Magic City Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. We're here to help. Magic City Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 1750 Independence Boulevard in Bedford, MagicCityBedford.com.
Hi, I'm Al Billingsley, a board member with CASA of Central Virginia. Children who have experienced abuse or neglect often enter foster care feeling scared, confused, and alone. That's where CASA volunteers step in. We stand behind these children to make sure that their voices are heard in court. CASA is looking for caring adults from our community to serve as volunteer advocates. And as a man, I can tell you we're especially in need more men to step up for these kids. If you're ready to make a difference, learn more at cvcasa.org.
Midday hunger hitting you hard? Swing by Macadoo's for our $8.95 weekday lunch specials. Whether you're craving a classic crunch or something fresh, we've got you covered. Chicken tender basket featuring crispy golden tenders served with fries. The Macadoo's Chef Salad, a healthy, loaded favorite that will hit the spot. Hit back against your lunchtime hunger at Macadoo's with eats that won't break the bank.
It's time to share, break them down. Just to be there, the only one. Just to be there at Macadoo's.
We'll see you at the Do's.
Come celebrate America's 250th with the Howlers at City Stadium Saturday, July 4th, presented by Drain Rangers. Enter the park and get your free patriotic rally towel. Root on the Howlers for a 6:30 p.m. first pitch, and then stay for the only fireworks show in Lynchburg following the game. America's pastime on America's 250th. Tickets are going fast, so get yours now at hchowlers.com and howl out loud.
Check out every game of March Madness on VTRN Sports, 93.3 FM, 1320 AM. Open VTRN Sports on your smart speaker and stream on the VTRN Sports app.
Step into the Fast Lane 24/7 at Trey Lyle VT and Fast Lane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, back to the Fast Lane.
I mean, just love. Shout out to yeah, you can listen to March Madness when it comes back in March right here on the VTRN Sports app. 5:18 Wednesday, July 1st. And this I'm sorry. I'm taking another detour.
Take a detour
you want to do
in the Fast
library on the thing. I'm teaching JJ here, and then you're gonna go to your. Yep. All right. I just got a text from my wife, and it stopped me in my tracks, and you can tell she's using Siri because it said, "Ask him if there's any Dr. Peppers in the car currently." So I'm gonna reply back, tell her yes, I did see them, and see if she notices. And I'm sorry that stopped me in my tracks, but that was funny. And I figured I needed to tell the entire radio audience that's listening, because I know for one thing, hopefully she is, since she is my ride today, she is hopefully in the car listening right now and knowing the mistake she made. Not a mistake. It's not a mistake, I should say. It's just kind of funny how that worked out. All right. Back to sports now again. Let me hit this. I hit that twice today.
Ed's potentially unnecessary detour. Let's get back on the road in the Fast Lane.
We're back. All right, back in the Fast Lane here Hope you're driving safely. Shout out to my wife for using the hands-free option. Just was funny how it came out. JJ, you mentioned the Mitchell Robinson thing. We get the NBA. We talked a little bit about LeBron James yesterday. And the moves he would make as we just jump through NBA free agency. Got the World Cup going on. Underrated. This is a great sports month. July, obviously, 250th of the United States celebration on Saturday. God bless America. So I'm going to pose a question to you.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
If you get $250 million for NIL, and obviously you give it to Virginia Tech. You went to Virginia Tech. How would you distribute it? Because that's what teams have to do now.
Yeah, no, that's a really tough question. So obviously, the biggest portion is going to go to football. That's your engine. That's your money maker. But the question is, how big of a portion is reasonable where you're not taking away from the other sports of the school? So the expectation is football and basketball are going to have the biggest allotment of that NIL money. The question is just how much. What would you think? What's a good number for those two sports combined?
So you could do like $100 million for football and really just give them a really insane roster.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could do it over 2 years and build, recruiting, whatever. Here's the thing. So like I would do like 50 million for basketball. So that leaves me what? 150, 100 million. I would give at least 10 million to the wrestling program. Like give me to I would give like 10 million to wrestling, 10 million to softball. Because at Virginia Tech, like UVA, you pick tennis and lacrosse. Like pick your two Olympic sports that perform the best consistently. And at Virginia Tech, it's wrestling and softball. And I'd be like, y'all are very close to getting to the national championship. Like Virginia Tech is in softball and softball to a lesser degree just because the beast that is, well, now Texas. But, kind of Texas Tech this, and where you can pay a pitcher an insane amount of money and she can carry you to a back-to-back finals appearances. Anyways, my point being, like Virginia Tech wrestling is probably one of the 5 best teams in the country coming into the season. And if you give them $10 million to build a roster, like even more and to retain Bo Bassett, which will be very difficult because he is, again, like the Arch Manning of wrestling prospects. It's not just getting him for 1 year, it's keeping him. So that's another, what is that, 10 million each? So that's, we're at what?
Got 80 million left over.
80 million.
We're at 170.
Okay. Right. So, and then you just I think divide it up equally.
Yeah, evenly distribute at that point.
The rest of the programs.
Reward the programs that bring in revenue and that have success, and then distribute the rest evenly. I like that plan a lot.
A little bit more to like the successful ones. Like,
Mm-hmm.
If anyone is a Virginia Tech volleyball fan, I'm apologizing. That's like the worst run program. I wouldn't give much to that. But that's how I would do it for 200. I was going to be like, what's the greatest American sports moment? But I feel like it's hard to say. Like, I guess it's the Miracle on Ice.
I feel like that's the most iconic. At
But
the
like,
very least.
would you not, if you just like say minus Team USA, like I think Phelps' Olympic run is the best
in 2008 Beijing?
Yeah, is the best American sports moment, like of an American representing Team USA. But like, then you got to argue like outside of that, greatest sports moments ever, like the Cubs winning the World Series, the Cavs comeback. I mean, George W. Bush throwing out the first pitch in New York City in the 2001 World Series. They lost that series. And I'm 29, so I really can't think of anything. But this country is 250 years old. There's been a lot of sporting moments. Obviously, the history of the country too. But other than that,
Do you think we might get an iconic American sports moment tonight, Trey?
I think so. I think we're gonna win.
Something we'll be talking about for a long time.
Yes, I believe that. I believe that we,
I believe that we will win.
So, by the way, interesting league news that we saved. I think this is actually pretty cool. The NBA Cup, which right now, last 2 NBA Cup champions. Did the Bucks beat the Thunder?
Yeah, I believe so.
And then the Thunder won the title because it was the Lakers. People forget that about LeBron's legacy. then I want to say it was the Bucks, then the Knicks. The Knicks finally did swept them, if I'm not mistaken.
The Knicks did win this past year. It was the Bucks the year prior. They beat the Thunder, and the first year the Lakers defeated the Pacers.
All right, there we have it. All right, anyways. NBA Cup is going to be, instead of Las Vegas, it's going to be held at Butler's Hinkle Fieldhouse on December 11th next season. I think that's really cool. An iconic basketball arena. I would assume be like fully packed. I would have Butler's, like you have students there. I think this is actually, like, to me, doing these sporting events, you know, the Field of Dreams games is coming back this year. Netflix is trying to get Kevin Costner to do it. That was a unique venue. I think doing these, I think for the NBA Cup, doing it at an iconic basketball venue, because you can't do it at MSG, because I feel like doing it at a home arena of an NBA team is hard. Like doing it at Hinkle Fieldhouse, doing it at, I think Cameron Indoor would be cool. Doing it at the Dean Dome, doing it at, you know, insert your iconic college basketball arena, Allen Fieldhouse. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. Anytime there's a chance to get NBA games into venues that don't typically have them, get more opportunities for fans to get in there and see some of these big games, especially an NBA Cup championship. I really like the idea, and it's good they went with a place with as much historical value as Butler's Fieldhouse. Really well done by Adam Silver on this, if he's the one who made the call. I think it's going to be really entertaining to see this come this December.
It will be indeed. As we just look through the news and notes, obviously yesterday we talked a little bit about Brian White. Other news from today, he hired Ryan Gottlieb as his deputy AD, chief strategy officer. He was his lieutenant at Florida Atlantic. Gottlieb, who served as one of White's 3 deputy ADs at FAU while holding a chief commercial officer title, with Hokies deputy athletic director and chief strategy officer, newly created role. He will focus on developing enterprise-wide strategies that enhance revenue opportunities, modernize business operation, and position the department for sustained success, according to the release. AKA, he's in charge of making the money.
That's what matters at the end of the day for collegiate athletics at this point. So let's hope he does a good job with it.
It does indeed. You check out the latest from TechSideline.com. Obviously, had Chris Coleman on earlier this week to talk about the latest changes. New athletic director, president search on the way for Virginia Tech. It's going to be an interesting summer. In a couple of weeks, Ed will be in Charlotte for ACC Media Days, which I would assume, which obviously he'll be able to talk to Coach Franklin there, amongst others. And of course, your home for the Hokies, VTRN Sports, powered by ESPN Radio and the VTRN Sports app. We have a lot of great sports coming this fall. Obviously, you're home for football all fall, amongst other things. With the latest going on with Virginia on the other side here, they just received a commitment, and I'm going to botch this name. Nolan Abudekunle, a German prospect. So he's going to be played for Germany for multiple seasons to this upcoming roster. I'm just gonna botch this name. Played in Europe, born in Germany, played for the Gladiators tier of German basketball in the Bundesliga, the top tier of the GBBL. Previously had stops. So appears to be a pretty decent shooter, shooting 43% from 3.
Wow.
51% from the field. He averaged 8.1 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, and 1.1 assists. 54 overall, 43 from 3, and 70 from the free throw line. The Basketball Real GM site shows slightly different numbers of 8.4 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 55.2 overall shooting, 42.3. So you're getting roughly a 50, 40, and 70 guy, which are good splits. I think it's an intriguing prospect, adding some more shooting and international flavor to Virginia and Ryan Odom.
Yeah, I mean, you can never have enough shooting on a basketball team at any level, much less if you're bringing in a guy as efficient as 50, 40, and I mean, 70 isn't great, but you'd like to see that a little higher. But if he's a shooter, the free throw percentage isn't that big of a deal. 50, 40, That's a guy who could fit in on any team. He'll space the floor. And you said this was in some of the German professional leagues these stats are from?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he could come in and really contribute for UVA at the collegiate level. I think, yeah, really big signing for UVA. 40% from three. What more can you say than that, Trey?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, this is another really good opinion or good pickup, I should say, from the Cavaliers. I mean, I've sung the praises of Ryan Odom since he got hired. I think he's a really good basketball coach. I think Virginia, we're skipping football. We're looking ahead to basketball, which we're a long way away. Not that long way away, but he is set to be like, I think they're going to be one of the better teams in the ACC, probably behind Duke, but kind of an under radar team in terms of a top team in the country. So I don't look now, but it feels like Virginia's going to have a real big roster coming up and really big season in year 2 under Ryan Odom. I mean, they I think went beyond expectations last season and had as good of a season you can ask for in year 1 under Ryan Odom. I think they're even ready to take another step up in year 2 with Ryan Odom, JJ.
Yeah, Ryan Odom just putting the building blocks down still at UVA, and they're already building something what looks to be really great here. I think they could contend. I don't know about a national championship, but they could make a deep run in March Madness. And like you said, I do think they'll be one of the better teams in the ACC, as much as that pains me to say. Yet another commitment for a coach who's done a really good job with the team. Future's bright in Charlottesville.
Yeah, it is indeed. And it's going to be interesting how this season is handled, because last season they were kind of the under the radar team, and I don't want to say there weren't expectations on that Virginia team, but they're now kind of back to peak. I don't want to say they're fully back to peak. Oh my God, I'm blanking on Tony Bennett's name. Tony Bennett. That happens sometimes, JJ, in the radio space.
Yeah, of
You
course.
just blank on an Hall of Fame basketball coach's name. Where they were expected to contend for the national championship. I don't know if they're there yet, but I mean, there's a coach that went year 2, and granted that Michigan team brought in a lot of transfers, but year 2 under Dusty May and Michigan led to a national championship. I won't say, again, I need to see the roster and see it. Like, the problem with the college basketball now is half these rosters, luckily for Virginia, they're bringing a lot back, but like most of these rosters, you don't know what they look like until 20 games into the season. But I would not be shocked if you see Virginia in the top 10 to 15 preseason and a Sweet 16 at minimum expectation for the Cavaliers on the hoop side. As for football, I do want to say this: like we're going to sing the praises of Virginia Tech and James Franklin and what he's done. I think Tony Elliott's bringing back a really good roster. Obviously, Bo Prabula is coming in. Like the roster retention they had, obviously they did lose some key figures, and it's going to be interesting to see if Tony Elliott can sustain this success. But again, you get a home game you weren't expecting now when you take on NC State at the start of the season. The best team in the ACC preseason you have to play is probably SMU. You're not playing Miami. And you have another schedule that sets up for you to make a run. And I think it's going to be a fun season for Virginia maintaining. Now, if they go 8-4, is it an abject failure? Did Tony Elliott take a step back? No, I think you had a lot of luck. I mean, they won a game because of a safety, like because of and I'm not here to take away from the Washington State game, but like because of a weird kickoff, they won a game because of a safety. That happened. They won a lot of tight games. Those typically flip the other way the next season. But the schedule sets up for them. And the talent is there to maintain a between 8-4 and 9-3 record, where I do think the game against Virginia Tech and Blacksburg will be a really fun game between two good teams, which is something that hasn't happened since 2019.
Oh yeah,
And that was kind of arguably the only time in my lifetime since like the mid 2000s.
Yeah, it feels like for just about both of our lifetimes, there's been a pretty big power imbalance between Virginia Tech and UVA when it
Which
comes
is
to
okay with
football.
me.
Well, it's kind of flipped back and forth. Well, not back and forth. It was Tech for the longest. As of late, it's UVA. To your point,
Well, it's somewhat UVA. It's what UVA's won 2 of the last 4.
Hey,
It's kind of a normal rivalry.
historically, 2 of the last 4 is really good for UVA.
Yeah,
so you can't take
it's
that
back
away
to
from
being
them.
a normal rival. It's back to being like now UVA Tech before the last time I was in Charlottesville, Tech did blow out UVA in Charlottesville. That was the vibe seat. The end. But my point being, like typically rivalries are if you're the home team, you win the game.
Mhm.
It's nice. And so I think long term, like that's fun for this rivalry.
Absolutely. I'd love to see it go back and forth at least a little bit. Obviously, want Tech to win a whole lot more than they lose them. But kind of like Ed and I were talking about dynasties the other day, it's more fun when you see great teams fall when you don't expect them to. And for years, it was Virginia Tech's winning every year. There's a chance they lose. It just makes it more fun as a neutral viewer.
Yeah, again, preface this: we are not neutral viewers.
No, we are
are
not.
Virginia Tech graduates, and go Hokies. And I can be even more biased as I don't have to cover Virginia's football season. So, just saying, go Hokies.
Go Hokies.
I do think though it'll be interesting, like the bigger picture of Tony Elliott, like coming off a great year where they won 11 games, and I think he proved a lot. But we've seen a lot of coaches win 11. It's why I wasn't the biggest fan of the extension when they got it, but I get why he got it. It always happens in college. He's had one good season. Now his first season ended with unspeakable tragedy, and there's and rebuilding from that. And when I had Preston Willett on my show, The Morning Warm-Up, he mentioned how Tony Elliott really took his time building the roster because he did want to honor scholarships of the players that were on the roster. That's something that's something he probably got from Dabo and very Clemson-esque. My point being is this is his guys. He had a really good roster. Now he's bringing in another transfer quarterback, and I think durability is a question with Bo Priola, considering he got hurt last year. Now he snapped his leg. That wasn't like an injury, but my point being, you do have a decent quarterback room with Eli Holstein, who's probably your starter 2 years from now. But it will be fascinating to see how things shake out. And by the way, if anyone says there's still a quarterback competition, if I'm not mistaken, Bo Priola is set to come to the ACC kickoff. That basically signals that there isn't a quarterback. Yeah, he is. So that signals there isn't a quarterback competition.
So he's won the starting job?
Yes.
Okay.
I would just assume so, since he is going to the kickoff. It's kind of like how I think there's a question at quarterback at Louisville. Lincoln Kienholz is going to the kickoff. Like Virginia Tech is not bringing a quarterback, even though they could, and we all know who the starter will be. I'm trying to think of a team that has an actual quarterback competition. Like Clemson is not bringing their quarterback, and they have a quarterback competition. So. Anyway, speaking of quarterback competitions, you know who also has a quarterback competition? The Liberty Flames. We'll talk about that and much more with John Manson from ASEA Red as we wrap up the Fast Lane with one final time. One final segment. This is did I say the morning warm-up? I think I did.
I don't think so.
I might have. Okay. Well, we can check tape. But this is the Fast Lane, not the morning warm-up. We'll be back with John Manson at ASEARed.com next.
Big transitions feel like big hurdles. That's why Central Virginia Counseling has 2 dynamic 6-week summer groups for rising 6th and 9th graders packed with essential life skills. Each week targets a new skill for success, tools like organization, time management, task initiation, anxiety reduction techniques, and skills for making friends and communicating well. Through peer connection and expert guidance, students will gain tools to feel capable, connected, and ready for day one. Visit us on Timberlake Road or Wigington Road in Lynchburg or at centralvirginiacounseling.com to learn more.
Kick off your weekend at Charlie's in Lynchburg. Every Friday night, turn up the vibe with the best local music the Hill City has to offer. Settle in for an evening of incredible live performances, handcrafted cocktails, and Charlie's signature dinner menu. Whether you're unwinding with friends or looking for the perfect date night spot, the rhythm is always right at Charlie's. Great food, local talent, and the best atmosphere in town. See you this Friday night at Charlie's.
Hey, small to medium business owners, if you're frustrated with slow IT support, high costs, or paying for services you just don't use, it's time for a change. Hi, I'm Colt with We Fix Stupid Computers. We provide reliable on-site and remote support tailored for businesses just like yours. And we go beyond just fixing problems. We empower your staff with real technology so they can work smarter every day. From repairs to training to full IT support, we save you time, stress, and money. Call We Fix Stupid Computers, 434-525-8590, where smart support meets real savings.
Tackle home projects, unexpected repairs, or even finally take that dream getaway with a home equity line of credit from the Farmers Bank. A HELOC gives you flexible access to funds when you need them most. Use it, repay it, and use it again. It's financial freedom built right into your home. Apply today at any Farmers Bank location, including our Timberlake Road branch, and put your home's equity to work for you.
Hey, Hokie fans, the warm weather months are when you really need experts plugged into the Virginia Tech Hokies. You need TechSideline.com. While Tech softball and baseball light up the diamond, TechSideline.com keeps you updated while taking you deep inside the football and basketball off seasons. Get exclusive recruiting scoops, roster breakdowns, and expert analysis that keeps you ahead of the game year-round. Subscribe to TechSideline.com for $12 per month or just $120 per year to stay ahead of the game. TechSideline.com. All Hokies, all the time, period.
Step into the Fast Lane 24/7 at Trey Lyle VT and Fast Lane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, back to the Fast Lane.
.542 on this Wednesday, July 1st. Welcome back into the Fast Lane. Still 2-0. About to approach the 80th minute between Senegal and Belgium. A man who I think, I would assume is enjoying the World Cup. He can correct me on this, is John Manson of Sia Red. John, have you been enjoying some World Cup action?
Trey, good to be on with you. And, you know, it's funny. I've never really been a huge soccer guy, but I've really gotten into the World Cup here the last, couple weeks and looking forward to the big U.S. match, obviously, in a couple hours here.
Couple hours indeed. Let's flip to, a side where you're an expert in, that is the Liberty Flames. Liberty, obviously, quarterback battle heading into, summer camp or fall camp, whatever you want to call it, in about a month's time from now. But I want to ask another unique part of this offense. Jamie Chadwell taking over play calling duties. This is something that will probably go under the radar because it's always been the Jamie Chadwell offense. But, with Willie Corn's departure, he's taking over play calling. Do you have expectations on the offense looking any different than it usually would be with now, Chadwell taking more control of the offense?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Trey. It's a good question. Coach Chadwell, he was offensive coordinator originally at his time at Coastal Carolina. And when he became the head coach there several years back, he was the play caller. And so that's something he was familiar with. And then when he came to Liberty, it was Coach Corn who's handled the bulk of those play calling duties. And as you mentioned, now Coach Chadwell's, taking those back over with Coach Corn, stepping away from football. And I don't think it'll be noticeably different as far as what you see. It will be a little bit interesting to see, what exactly this offense looks like. You mentioned the quarterback battle, and there's a lot of eyes and attention on that, as there always is and should be when there's a quarterback battle going on in the summer. But one thing that I'm really intrigued by is this running back room. Liberty had obviously Evan Dickens last year, who, was among the national leaders in rushing all season. obviously he transferred, and so did the rest of the running back room has moved on, and there's a lot of new faces there, and some guys that we may hear a lot of on the field this fall. Kanye Udo, a former transfer, former running back from Army, where he ran for over 1,000 yards a couple years ago. Then he went to Arizona State last season, didn't have quite the success he was hoping for, and went back into the portal, and now he's at Liberty. And Cam Davis, former top 100 national recruit, 4-star, went to Florida State to begin his college career, and hasn't quite had the type of career that many expected, and certainly that he was hoping for. But now he gets a fresh new place to be, place to call home at Liberty. And he kind of, wide-shouldered guy, big-bodied guy, similar to like a Quentin Cooley build. And those are just a couple of the names that we might see. And so I'd be interested to see if, this Liberty offense, it's always been centered around the ground game, but especially with the uncertainty at the quarterback room, if, Coach Chadwell and this offense doesn't, lean a little bit even more heavily on the rushing attack to open the season, especially in addition to the factors I already mentioned, with the offensive line returning 4 starters and having a former top 150 recruit, Alex Birchmeyer, from transfer from Penn State, likely to fill in that 5th starting spot up front. So I would expect to see, and it's similar to what Liberty did in 2023 when they went 13-1 and won Conference USA and made it to the Fiesta Bowl, is it would just turn around, hand the ball off to Quentin Cooley, and let Caden Salter, make some work with his legs, and both of those guys rush for right at 1,000 yards that year. I think you might see a lot more of that from this Liberty offense on the field this fall. That's my early, prediction and my best guess of what we'll see out of this, Liberty offense.
Do you think part of the reason Chadwell didn't bring in a new voice, and you could be for or against that new offensive mind and took more control of the offense, is, and I wouldn't say Chadwell is on the hot seat, but to say last season was a disappointment is an understatement, and to say he has real job pressure is probably the better way to frame it. Do you feel like he feels that kind of pressure in terms of his job, and his best way out of it, at least for next season, is to take more control of the thing he was truly, known for, which was this innovative spread option, triple option concepts, but more modern offensive approach?
Yeah, and it's probably the first time this upcoming season. You mentioned the pressure he's feeling, job pressure. I don't know, but this is probably the first time Coach Chadwell's ever felt that, as far as due to on-field performance. Obviously, had a lot of success early at Liberty, and then at Coastal Carolina, and at his previous stops, Charleston Southern and others. So it's probably the first time he's ever felt this pressure. So, I think it makes sense that he would like to assume some of that responsibility. Kind of like people talk about as like, if this ship is going down, then at least let me be at the helm of the ship while it goes down and have that control. But I also think some of it is also just the confidence he has in newly promoted quarterback coach Malcolm Dixon. He's a guy who's an assistant quarterback coach for the first 3 seasons he's been at Liberty, and he was a position coach previously at Coastal Carolina, a wide receivers coach, before he came to Liberty with this Chadwell staff. And Dixon's a guy that Liberty fans that have been around a little while, they're familiar with him, obviously from his time coaching at Liberty, but also from his time at quarterback at Charleston Southern. And for Liberty fans that were fans back when the program was in the FCS and in the Big South, Charleston Southern was, kind of like your lowest funded team in the Big South Conference, and Liberty was the top dog, at least funded wise and funding wise, and also just they won multiple conference championships year after year. And then Coach Chadwell, who nobody knew at the time, and his quarterback Malcolm Dixon came into Williams Stadium the year after the Flames made the FCS playoffs and pulled the upset of Liberty. So Coach Dixon's had some success in Lynchburg at Williams Stadium, and I think Coach Chadwell's had a lot of confidence in him, and maybe not quite ready to take on the play calling duties, but I think he was really confident in being able to promote Dixon to that quarterback role.
So what does that mean for the quarterbacks? Does it seems I think you favored Deshaun Purdy as kind of the betting favorite. I don't want to betting with college quarterbacks is probably not the right term to use lately. But if they had to take a quarterback to conference media days, it would be the starter. Would it be Deshaun Purdy? Let's phrase it that way. That's a new way to figure out who the starting quarterback are. Who goes to conference media days?
Yeah, I mean that is my guess, is that Purdy's kind of the clubhouse leader coming out of spring ball and going into the summer. I mean, and he was the guy that when he first committed to Liberty back in the transfer portal January, February time period, everybody assumed it was going to be him, but then Liberty went out and also brought in Jalen Henderson, the transfer from West Virginia, and before that Texas A&M, and he was the guy that Liberty looked at a year ago before he ended up committing and transferring to West Virginia. And I see that as I'm getting distracted, and I see Belgium's now tied it up.
We
2-2.
also just
So
saw that.
we got some drama going on out in Seattle right now. But yeah, I think you got three guys in Purdy, Henderson, and then also Ethan Vasco, who obviously started most of the season last year, who was dealing with an injury throughout the spring, all-season shoulder surgery. But all three of those guys who have significant playing experience at the FBS level, all three have started games, some double-digit number of games. And obviously, Purdy began at Charlotte and then was at Wake Forest last year and split time as a starter last year. But that's something Liberty did not have a year ago. Like, you had Ethan Vasco, who was the only guy with any amount of playing experience. And now you got three. And I talked some about this a little bit with Ed previously this summer, is now, especially with what we saw happen to Vasco last year, missing some time, and you had a platoon of quarterbacks coming in, and none of them really seemed to step into that capable backup quarterback. Well, now Liberty has, at least on paper, three guys that you think that this coaching staff would at least feel somewhat confident in being able to win a game or to lead a series, lead a drive at a critical time, if needed. So that's something that's a little bit new for this Liberty team and this Liberty offense. And like I said, I do expect Purdy to be the guy, but if, that also goes, not just health-wise, but if he struggles early, Liberty could quickly turn it over to one of the other guys. And Henderson's more of the, true, running dual threat quarterback, whereas Purdy's more the true pocket passer who can make plays with his legs. And then, we all know about Vasco, when he did last year, and probably a lot of Liberty fans have sour tastes, and understandably so, looking at the numbers. Liberty had more interceptions than touchdown passes last season. That's obviously not a recipe for success.
Just the professionalism of John Manson there. As yes, Belgium did tie it 2-2 in the 89th minute. Great reaction from JJ, and then me, and then the professional John Manson. So John, I want to appreciate you
trying to keep us on task, but I will say that I have some betting interest in this match, and a tie at the end of regulation would be fine with me.
So you're going with the strategy of the great Aaron McFarland, who used to cover Virginia Tech for the Roanoke Times, who would basically always bet a draw in soccer games, and
not always, but this is actually the first one in the World Cup that I bet this way, but I did, and of course it got out to a 2-0 Senegal lead, and I'm like, well for that, but here we are, 2-2. We got a fighting chance.
Well, maybe, you know what? Maybe John's gonna have me come, have JJ and I with him, on the phone for all his big bets at this point, just because the luck is on his side. Speaking of luck going on their side, still sticking with the Liberty Flames and trying to reestablish themselves back in Conference USA. Obviously, the conference is a little bit different look with the officially leaving of Louisiana Tech. Expectations clearly are to reestablish themselves as the favorite in Conference USA. what do you think is the biggest thing, what from what you've seen from them in spring to what you need to see from them in fall in order for them to get back there?
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to point to the quarterback play, but it seems like that's the most obvious. I mean, if you go back to what Liberty, when Liberty has had success, whether at the FBS level, whether that's under Coach Chadwell, the first couple of seasons, or even going back to his time, Liberty's time under Hugh Freeze, is the Flames had success due to their quarterback play. Obviously Malik Willis, Buckshot Calvert before him, and Caden Salter. And Salter's inconsistencies in 2024 kind of led to that late season slide where Liberty started 5-0 and ended 8-4. And then that kind of, spiraled into last season where I just mentioned a minute ago how Liberty had, more interceptions thrown than touchdown passes thrown, and threw for fewer passing yards than the Flames have done in all of its time at the FBS level. And those numbers have to change. Those trends have to change, and so that's the most important thing. And then the defense. I'm really excited, cautiously optimistic about this defense under new defensive coordinator Sean Clark, and coming over from Blacksburg, and just a new mentality that he's bringing to this Liberty defense, something that we haven't seen the last couple of years. And I think it'll be much more of a hard hat type mentality, physical, grinded out type of mentality that we haven't really seen. I mean, 2023 Liberty won a lot of those close games, or on the right side of a lot of those close games, due to the opportunistic defense, leading the nation in interceptions and winning the turnover battle more times than not. And this past season, obviously, 4-8 record's not good, but Liberty was, if you go back and remember, especially in conference play, losing 3 straight games by 1 score, and at the end of the season, and a couple of overtime games. And, you just have a couple of plays here and there, and instead of being 4-8, you're 7-5 or 8-4. And obviously this Liberty football program has high expectations and expects to be, not just, making it to bowl games, but competing for a Conference USA championship and competing to be one of the highest rated group of 5, group of 6 teams now in the country. And that's where the Flames were just a few years ago. And Coach Chadwell's made a lot of changes, brought in a lot of new faces, both coaching wise and on the field. And I think he's confident that, the Flames can get back right in the mix of things in this new 10-team Conference USA.
John Manson, AsiaRed.com, at JC Manson on Twitter. John, I'm gonna let you go, let you sweat out this final 2 minutes of a bet you have, and wishing you the best of luck, my friend.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, Trey. Talk to you soon.
Sounds good indeed. Epic reaction right there. I mean, that was perfect. We're about to get another game in extra time, it appears. 2-2. Incredible stuff. Thanks so much to John. Check out AsiaRed.com. And I do think real job pressure on Chadwell this year will lead to why he part of the reason, and you can go back to our discussions with the GOAT Bryson Gordon and I talking Liberty, and with John at AsiaRed.com and Ed talking about the real job pressure under Chadwell coming into next season. Well, speaking of tomorrow, we have a guy who's calm under pressure, I would say. The man, the myth, the legend, Tanner Marlar, frontstretch.com, returns to talk about all things NASCAR. In-season challenge. Is it a problem that the 1 seed is lost back-to-back years? The 1 seed in a tournament is defeated, meaning they have never won. Obviously, Denny Hamlin going out year 1, Tyler Reddick going out in year 2. We'll talk about the man who beat him, Alex Bowman, his future. He talked about how he wants his contract settled, and he is technically a defending race winner at Chicagoland. Get the deep dish pizza, even though it's in Joliet, Illinois, kind of like how the Bears will play in Indiana. Everything calls themselves Chicago. We'll talk about that, return the excitement for that race, and much more. Tanner Marlar joins from frontstretch.com tomorrow. We'll have more World Cup reaction, including how the Americans do. Go, go, USA! In the words of Ian Dark. But that will do for us today. JJ, good job. Good job. Ed's in the big city, New York City. Ed, give us the deets on the Taylor Swift wedding. Let us know. But that will do for us today here on the Fast Lane. Bye, everybody.